sorry. And ladies, gentlemen and ladies. Sorry. So a couple of weeks ago, you guys asked if what the little tags were on the Baobab trees. There's a little white tag with a little green number. Okay, we've got numbers 1 up to 100, and we are tagging Baobabs as part of a citizen science project. So I figured out today that what we'll do is we'll go out and we'll tag 9 trees. It'll give us a bit of a flavor of what citizen science is all about and what our role as guides is within the industry in terms of citizen science. How can we play a role in that? Okay, so there's a lot of information that we can glean from being part of a citizen science project. Just imagine all the learning that we can do with that. Okay. Alright, so citizen science is a very, very cool thing for us to be involved in. Not only does it help us gain further knowledge, it enables us to talk about something to our guests, and it also contributes to other people's livelihoods. Alright, so we make sure that things like lions don't go and eat people's livestock.
So take advantage of this opportunity, park wild, and gather as much information.
What do you mean? We're all celebrities.
Pose for a photo or for a video, that we have to continue and do what we're supposed to be doing as if it's not there. Meeting, we probably decided to say, okay, let's go for a natoma organ. Then we just sit under the natoma organ and we just like share information about that natoma organ. We'll think about another tree as we go, so that we do have a lot of information of different things, something that we'll be able to talk to our guests.
This park is magnificent. It's probably one of Zimbabwe's better parks in terms of what it's got inside of it.
So in this park alone, over 400 species.
446 different bird species to be found in this park. Can you imagine? So if you've got 446 birds and 154 trees, you actually don't have to drive more than about 1 kilometer to give your guest an unreal experience. It's not about distance, it's about what knowledge you know. Okay, so I always try and benchmark this. The further you drive, the bigger the confirmation that our guides don't know anything. The further you drive, it confirms that you know nothing. Okay? The shorter your drive in terms of distance means the more you actually know.
As you said, we're going to be working for approximately 2.5 hours. Let's try by all means to enjoy this walk, and also let's consider our safety. Our safety comes first.
Which kind of scenarios can you say, no, we can't do that? After a guest is asked. Because you will come across that. As much as we prepare on how to walk, when to walk, safety briefing, but there's a reverse scenario. When can you tell a guest, I'm sorry, we can't exercise because of ABC?
They just say the dress code of a guest is not like,
How about the characters of the guest?
So you get it, you understand it? Yeah. So there are scenarios where you can literally tell guests, unfortunately guys, we can't. One, the attire, your dress code, we call it advertising color. It's so bright, they're so illuminating, they don't blend in with nature. Hence they expose us very easily and they make us easy targets for any scenarios. So most of the stuff that compromise safety are very much applicable. These are a couple of scenarios. Dress code, behavior, if they are under the influence, they've been drinking and they're rowdy and they're noisy, you can't do a walk with that kind of people. You need to be very cautious and observant of that. So those are the few scenarios that, unfortunately we can't. We can do a game drive because of the car and safety of a vehicle, it's a different scenario. But for a walking, unfortunately we'll have to skip that.
Is to lay down your set of rules. I'm in charge. This is how I want you to behave. This is how I want you dressed. I'm going to keep you safe. It's all about me. Because I'm in charge, I'm responsible. I got the weapon, it's my job. I want to make sure that we get you all back. Okay, so you in the world to say no because it compromises your safety. But make sure when you're doing it in a way that is you're showing a little bit of integrity, that you're showing a little bit of compassion, and that you're always polite. Otherwise, you will get a complaint against you. You don't want that. Okay, so always make sure you know what you're doing and how you're saying it. Be polite. Okay. Good.
Kapas kapasa. Kapas kapasa.
Immoral or right to call animals in a national park? Okay, think about it. Ask questions amongst your team. Okay.
You can even count how many fruits per day if you can. The truth? Yes or no? Put it down. Does the tree have a black mold? Writing down the GPS coordinates on the form, and then again we put down the elevation. Does the tree have any beehives? I don't see any, unless if I climb up there. What is the circumference? So measure 1 meter up from the base.
Other trees grow. You know, if you chop a tree down, you see all those rings. And every year you get another ring. The baobab, you could have rings forming on this side, the next year the rings form on that side, and this side and this side. So there's never a guarantee from carbon dating or from rings that a baobab is the age that it's supposed to be at. So this here is just a formula that we've developed, which gives us an approximation. Okay, multiplied by 80 gives you an approximate age.
So like, why not 50?
80?
Why not
80,
50?
not 20?
Yes.
Well, so if you look at the existing trees that we know we've got data on, okay, so those trees that have been grown in plant by seed, people have grown them, you measure that, and if you know how long a lifespan they've been there already, you then come to an average of around 80. It's around average. Okay, and I say average is very important because understand this, every tree will grow in accordance with its natural environment. If there's good soils, the tree will grow faster. If there's poor soils, it will grow slower. If there's good rain, it will grow faster. If there's bad rain, it will grow slower. Alright, so it's an approximation. And the older is because elephant damage when they're young, the elephants come and eat them, bearing in mind that they're a succulent and they're made up of 80% water. Interesting facts. Okay? Is it because people are harvesting the outer skins and making baskets, making mats? Okay, it doesn't die if you harvest that, but it certainly does get smaller and smaller and smaller. Eventually it falls over. All right, so by Birchenough Bridge area, Lower Savi, okay, the people there are harvesting a lot of baobabs, and certainly those baobabs are dying as a result of us harvesting them. Okay, that's a pretty bad thing. If you look at the elephant damage and the human damage, you will find that there's a synergy there. Synergy means something that's the same. Where you got all these scars up both the trees, that's where the black mold starts forming. So it certainly is a bacterial mold that is as a result of damage to the tree. Now some trees do not get damaged as much, other trees get very damaged by this black mold, okay? So it's like us. Think about us. Some of us don't get flu so badly, others suffer a huge amount. So it's about the immunity in the tree. Certainly, we don't understand exactly how that works, but we do understand that there's an immunity in these trees. Some of them are more resilient than others. I guess if we don't eat enough food and drink, we are more susceptible to getting sick. Perhaps a baobab in the Wangi area that's got black mold, because it doesn't have enough water, is more susceptible to get the mold than the other surrounding trees. Or perhaps the one at Cresta is more susceptible to getting sick because it's been looked after too much. Think about our Western culture guests that come out. They've got a lot more hay fever than what we've got. They're looked after a lot better than what we are. lots of medication and tablets and all this kind of stuff, which has made them weak, really, because now they suffer. As soon as they get some dust, they're sneezing. Whereas us as Africans, we are pretty immune to that, aren't we? Okay, so the immunity of these trees is a very important factor to look at. Now, we can't study and research that, but we can hand over our ideas to Kew Gardens, who've got the laboratories to check that. And that'll be kind of a cool thing for them to do and then to tell us at a later stage. Okay. Of the 79 trees in the park at the moment, and I've gone on the islands, which include Soa and Chundu. One of those islands, out of the 79 trees, there is around 20 trees that are less than 100 years old. And all 20 trees belong to Soa Island. All of them. Okay, why is that? It's a very, very good question. The reason why, if you look at Soa, very few elephants actually crossed over that channel and get onto that island. You will find dung there, and I found a couple of carcasses and skulls. So there have been elephants there, but it seems to me that they do not go over there and destroy the trees. Right, everywhere else in the park has been kind of difficult to find trees younger than 100 years old. But they are certainly on Soa. Okay, so why? Why are they like that? Elephant damage, I think, does play a big part, definitely. Okay. They probably, when we're driving around the park, and that's how I've identified the trees, when you drive around the park, oh, there's a baobab, and you see it on the horizon, you walk to that tree, but we probably are walking past ones that are younger that we haven't identified. Okay, I'm sure there will be quite a few of those, especially along the River Rhine. So we haven't exhausted the number of trees in the park. Okay. Interestingly, a couple of years ago, I spoke to Clint Robertson. This is about a year and a half ago. You guys all remember Clint? Okay, I said to him, how many baobabs do you think are in the national park? And he said to me, I think about 6. 6 trees. Well, we probably had between 150 to 200. Okay? Because people don't open their eyes at everything that we're doing. We need to open those eyes up. Okay, and have a look. And when you do find a new tree, note it, locate it. I'll send you the forms, tag it, GPS it. I can come to the tag and put a tag on. Let's get it documented. You guys. To germinate, the baobab seed's an interesting thing. In my experience, you've got to crack the seed, which will allow moisture inside of that seed, and then it can germinate. So if you think about it, in the natural environment, what happens is you've got elephants that might crush a seed and hopefully not crush it into powder, and then it doesn't germinate. You've got baboons and monkeys that also enjoy seeds, and of course humans. So if those seeds do get cracked slightly and they allow the water to get in there, moisture to get in there, it works. Another way of doing it, if you want to do it back at home, is actually taking a piece of sandpaper and sanding the husk to make it thinner, which then also makes it a little bit easier for that seed to germinate.
The most evident predator, the one we can manage by evidence of the destruction, is the elephant. But there's lots of other factors. Weather and climate also playing a huge role. This is a fibrous plant which actually results in accumulating moisture and water inside. So it's 80% water. So if there is a drought and it loses more water, there's a very high chance the tree will lose condition. And I've seen where other trees actually amputate a part of the tree that gets infected. So during those droughts and stuff, you get some molds and other infections that come in on a certain branch. And when the tree realizes that, it actually amputates that. That tree rots, dies and falls off, but that rest of the tree actually survives from that little branch that actually falls off. There's a belief that ancestrally your great-great-great-grandfathers probably sat and had meetings around the tree and all that. So a lot of wisdom and knowledge and connection with ancestral wisdom is done through these kind of trees, where they set up also meetings and gatherings and the indabas, around these trees. They've got sort of like a connection with our ancestors, which we never saw, but the tree actually probably got a chance to relate or connect with them. So hence the conservation and preservation and such projects being done to make sure that these trees are recognized and protected. Lisedi primary, we actually transplanted one. It's probably about 10 years old. Very big tree. And we're carrying, like 50 guys carrying it. We dug a hole maybe about 6-8 meters, because the taproot was quite long. So we dug a hole so that the taproot would really go deep, and we actually transplanted, and it's actually doing well.
It's about creating that baseline survey. That's what you need to begin. You need to start from somewhere. And the data today might be inaccurate, but in 5 years' time it'll get more and more and more accurate over history, over time. It's important. Alright, so what's the point of putting a tag on there? Okay, the point of putting a tag on it is just so that if anybody does come past, they know that somebody's been there already. Okay, because what I don't really want is everyone runs around and finds this tree and really hope that it builds us and it helps us grow. Okay. So what I'd like to encourage everyone, when you get back home, you have some time to sit down and relax and think about things. On the Facebook, not the Facebook, what do we call it? WhatsApp. On the WhatsApp group, if you've got questions, post your questions on there. We'll all try and answer those questions for you. Okay. If you'd like to see things go in a different direction, this is your group. Okay. We don't own it. We're just here to help. So if you guys want to do something in particular, ask us. And we'll see if we can maybe make that happen. Okay, so thank you, and advisory, just stick on that group. I think it's a pretty cool group now.